Hi again. I hope you've been experimenting with floating and sinking like I have. I was thinking when I took everything out of my bowl to put it away, I decided I wanted to sort it into two groups, the things that were floating and the things that were sinking. So we have, tell me what I have. My boat, two balls, my plastic egg, a pencil, and a block, both made of wood. So I have a lot of plastic things. I have wooden things. I have a sponge and a cork and a frog who's made of plastic and a rubber band. So those were all the, oh, and don't forget my pine cone, which is kind of feels like wood, right? Those are all of the things that were floating in my bowl. Now let's look at the things that were sinking in my bowl. What's that? A shell, and a rock, and a marble, and a key, and my pennies, right? Those were the things that were sinking or sank to the bottom of my bowl. So I was trying to look at them and figure out like what makes something float and what makes something sink, or what's the difference? And you know what I thought? The hard things, like keys and shells and rocks, those were the things that sink. And the lighter things like my ping pong ball and my wooden block, my boat, the things that feel lighter and not so hard are the things that were floating, like wood and plastic. So now, the next time you experiment, you can make even a better hypothesis. Do you remember that word, hypothesize? Remember our little song? Will it sink or will it float like a rock or like a boat? Clever scientists are wise. First we think, then hypothesize. Sink or float, which will it be? Experiment and we will see. So when you're experimenting, think about it. Is it hard like a rock? Or is it not so hard like a rubber band? Not very hard, right? A pencil's not too hard. So think about it when you're experimenting. Then I thought of something else. I thought, what happens if we put two of the things together? What happens if we took something that floats like a boat and put in things that don't float into the boat, like pennies? I have a lot of pennies. What do you think might happen if I put pennies that sink into my boat that floats? Let's be a scientist and think about it. Let's hypothesize. And then we're going to test it out and see. So I'm going to put some pennies in my boat. Uh-oh, made my boat go sideways. Oh, do you see what's happening? Oh, look, what's happening to my boat? The pennies want to sink, but the boat is holding them up. Let's see, put some more. Uh-oh, the boat's going a little bit lower into the water. Let's put more pennies and see what happens. How many pennies can this boat hold? Oh, did you see what happened? What happened to my boat? It sunk. The pennies were very heavy, and finally the boat went to the bottom. It sunk. Let me see if I take the pennies out, what happens. Do you think the boat will float again? It's floating again. Why is it floating? That's right, because I took the pennies out. Pennies like to sink, but boats like to float. Now let me put all the pennies back in and see what happens. Oh, the boat sunk again. Oh my goodness. So that's what happens when you put two things together. Something that floats and something that sinks. If you put enough of the thing that sinks in the thing that floats, it's going to sink it. Why don't you try? Let me know what happens. Bye.